rules are.
I'm in charge here.
Oh, excuse me.
Hello.
That's kind of hot.
Oh, you like that? I don't know if I'm in charge here, but I'm here.
You can show me what the rules are.
Oh. And I can also make the music louder and lower like I'm that guy. Hi.
Hi.
Episode 73 of Walkers and Talkers.
Woo!
I'm David Brody from Elvis in the Morning Show. I hope you know that by now.
Yes.
That's Jamie from Lite FM.
Hi.
I forgot to get my phone ready. I want to get my phone ready before we open the show.
What do you need on there?
Well, let me see. Okay, so I want to give a couple of shout-outs. I'm going to forget somebody.
On the Twitter?
On the Twitter. But I want to say hi to Sierra Gore. She's out at 910 at OUTA 0910.
Okay.
She's a big fan of all of our podcasts, big fan of Elvis in the Morning Show.
Thank you.
She loves the Brooklyn Boys podcast. Check out the Brooklyn Boys podcast if you haven't already.
You cheat on me sometimes.
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about the people who listen to the podcast. I know you're going to listen when you can.
Yes.
In fact, right after we record this, I have to record with Skeery, that's Skeery, Skeery, the Brooklyn Boys podcast,
Yes.
which will go up live today, which is Thursday the 28th.
Yeah.
As will this.
I can't
When you
believe
hear
it's
this,
almost October.
it's almost October. And you know what? I closed my pool yesterday, which is, I don't want to sound bougie. It's not a big deal.
Bougie, I love that
It
word.
came with the house. I didn't pay for it. Anyway, I thought by now this week, I usually try to keep it open until October.
Yeah.
And I didn't because it was starting to get a little cold over the weekend, I think.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'll schedule a closing. And I scheduled it for Thursday, which is today, because I thought, well, Thursday I work till like 8 o'clock at night. I have a really long day on Thursday.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not going to swim on Thursday anyway. Close it Thursday. But I'll swim on Wednesday. That's my short day. Well, he told me Tuesday night, oh, I'm coming tomorrow. That's when it worked out. So he closed my pool yesterday. It was 85 degrees.
It was 80-something degrees.
Yeah, 85 degrees in New York. And
Oh.
I rushed home to maybe jump in before I got there. And they were
no.
already there putting the cover on. So I feel like, take the cover off. But you know what? They charge you a lot of money to close the pool.
Champagne problems.
And I think next time, it's not that kind of, I don't have a waterfall and a diving board and a rock wall. I don't have that. It's just a pool. It's just a whatever. So
I love pools.
I do too. Anyway, so that's I just,
We digress.
yeah. The fall, the hell with the fall. But the fall means that The Walking Dead's coming back October 22nd.
Yes.
Very exciting about that. Okay, so we have a lot to cover. We have Fear the Walking Dead, episode 12 of season 3.
Awesome episode.
A lot happened.
Yes. Things that needed to happen.
Some things that needed to happen,
Yes.
and some things you're like, oh.
Well, it's like, but it kind of had to happen.
Okay, now, I had said, spoiler, you should have watched it. I'm not going to say it now because we're not up to that yet.
Yeah.
But I said on last week's podcast, episode 72,
Yes.
that no one on Fear the Walking Dead has been eaten by a zombie. None of the stars. And I still think this doesn't count. Getting bitten by a zombie, right, and then slowly dying, I feel like, yeah, maybe. But nobody's gotten, like, eaten up.
Well, one guy.
What star
I don't know,
has...
what should I say?
Wait a minute.
Well, not a main star.
Right. So, what, Claw? What's his name?
No, can I say it?
On Fear the Walking Dead.
Yeah.
A main character got...
Well, he wasn't main.
Oh, you're talking about... I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
No, let's talk about that later.
Okay. Well,
He was a...
It was like a semi.
And he also didn't really show it because Alicia did something before he got eaten.
Well, that's true, yeah.
So again, I'm saying...
It's like a quarter bullshit.
Although his face was so sad.
It really was sad. Oh, that really, that was bothersome.
And I'm sorry. You're that guy, right? You should be able to get out of there.
Yeah.
If the other three people...
He's a huge dude.
Well, he was.
Yep.
All right.
Oh.
R.I.P. Coop. All right. Oh, sorry.
You said it.
Spoiler, Coop's dead. Also, hey, Hugh Hefner died. Okay? I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, I feel terrible about Hugh Hefner. But you do a morning show.
Yeah.
Right? You have alerts on your phone.
I got it last night. And
it's on Twitter. And it's on the news.
Yeah.
Then we do a morning show where it's our job to know things.
It's our job to tell you.
We go on the air 6 o'clock East Coast time, right?
5:30 us.
Like 7:30. Hey, did you guys know Hugh Hefner's dead? No,
No,
we're
we
living in a
didn't.
bubble.
Yeah.
How would we not know Hugh Hefner's dead?
Well, we have to know. That's our job.
Here's what I think. And I know this is a Walking Dead podcast, but here's what I think. I think there are some people who are devoid of news in their life.
That's true.
Who don't watch cable news, who don't have alerts on their phone, who don't go on Twitter. And to them, if you hear something, it's, oh my God, I'm lucky to have heard that. Did you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Because no one they know heard it. But I think when you're talking to a morning show, only because it's our job, not because we're smarter than anybody else, but it's we have to know. And so if it's breaking news, if something happens at 7:03 and you text in 7:03 and a half, then you go, did you guys hear? We love that because sometimes we go, no, we were too busy talking on the radio. We didn't know that. But if something happened 12, 13, 14 hours ago and it's a major story, we probably have an idea.
We know.
Also, if you're listening to a 4-hour show and you're only listening for 20 minutes, don't text in, how come you guys didn't mention? I can't believe you guys didn't mention it. Well, we mentioned it the 3 times when
you weren't listening.
You weren't listening. Right. That's how it works. If you didn't see it or hear it at that moment, that doesn't mean we didn't do it.
Yeah.
Now you could text in and say, hey, did you guys mention it? I may have missed it. I just woke up.
Yeah.
That's polite.
That's better.
That's better.
That's radio listenership etiquette.
That's all I'm saying. All right. Now, as far as the podcast.
Okay.
I'm going to give a little hint to people, little something to look forward to.
A little snippet.
Jamie and I did an interview yesterday with a member of the Walking Dead cast, Daniel Newman, who plays Daniel.
Amazing.
He's the cool redheaded looking. He's the redheaded guy.
Handsome stud.
From the Kingdom.
Yeah.
Right? He was the first guy from the Kingdom on horseback that we saw.
Yep.
And we got to interview him yesterday on the phone. And scale of 1 to 10?
20.
20.
Yeah.
20. I was thinking 20 also.
Higher.
So much fun. So the interview is we're going to leave it as a standalone podcast.
Okay.
And I think we're going to post it a little closer to the premiere of The Walking Dead.
Okay.
But it was so great. And then after the interview, he got my email address.
I know.
From the publicist that hooked us up. Because he had followed me on Twitter.
Yeah.
And then I wrote him back. And then his publicist saw that I wrote it back. And then his publicist direct messaged me and said, hey, do you want to talk to Daniel? He'd love to talk to you. You know, because he saw that we do a podcast. I was like, yeah, absolutely. So then he reached out to the publicist and he said, hey, can I get their email addresses? And he sent us a thank you note.
I know. How awesome is that?
Thank you for the interview. Let me know when it's up. I'll retweet it.
Fun. He'll retweet.
So exciting. So listen, if you're like, oh yeah, he's the guy. He's a small role. First of all, he has a much bigger role this season.
Yeah.
Because it's all out war.
And the second you see him, you'll know who he is.
The redheaded guy from the Kingdom.
Yeah.
He was part of the 4 or 5 people that went to do the drop-offs every with the Saviors.
Plus, he was actually the very first guy we saw from the Kingdom.
Right, who rode up on horseback when Rick and he's the guy that saved
Carol
and Morgan from the Savior.
Yep.
Okay, so very important role on the show. More important this season. But I'm telling you, when you hear this interview, you're going to watch the show now and go, oh my God, I love that guy.
Yeah.
He was so cool. He was like, oh, dude, that's awesome.
And he has the best laugh, too.
He does. So Daniel Newman, who plays the role of Daniel, and I said to him, I go, oh, that's you're a method actor. You were born Daniel to play the role of Daniel. So I look forward to that. We'll have that up in a week or two. We'll put that up as a bonus episode.
Love it.
So there's a lot of The Walking Dead news that broke over the last couple of days. So I want to try to touch on as much of it as I can before we get into our possible Fear the Walking Dead recap. All right. Robot Chicken. About 6 or 7 episodes ago, we talked about how it was a short little trailer that was released.
Yep, we saw that.
It was a Walking Dead version of Robot Chicken or Robot Chicken Walking Dead episode. Let's see what we've learned. It's going to premiere October 8th, and it's going to feature a number of segments that will play on things that happened in the show. There's a Maggie and post-Lucille Glenn still living, so bashed Glenn, doing a little sitcom called Happy Glendings. And it says the show's going to be about a group of fans visiting a Walking Dead museum full of artifacts like Daryl's crossbow. The tour guide begins telling the history of the Walking Dead until an old man with an eye patch, who's old man Carl, pulls aside the Robot Chicken character, the nerd, to give him his version of the apocalypse that he'll tell. Well, this is what really happened. So old man Carl's going to tell the story. Both old man Carl and young Carl on the show are voiced by Chandler Riggs. And other voices on the show include Andrew Lincoln, Norman Reedus, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Sarah Wayne Callies.
Oh, I didn't realize they had the real people.
John Bernthal. Hold that. We'll get back to him in a minute. Lenny James, Stephen Yun, Scott Wilson, Denai Guerrero, Melissa McBride, Michael Rooker, Josh McDermott.
Wow.
So even people that are dead on the show, spoiler.
Holy.
Also, Gareth will be on the show.
Really?
But apparently the actor who played Gareth can't sing.
Oh.
Andrew J. West. And so they needed that character to sing.
Oh, no.
So my boy Seth Green, and I say that because I love him, and I've had the pleasure of meeting him twice, and I love him. He called up Daniel Radcliffe, and Harry Potter will be playing the role of Gareth.
Oh, my God. This is going to be amazing.
So I can't wait. October 8th, and that's on Adult Swim, right?
Yep.
You'll see all over the place, right? Walking Dead Season 8 premiere now has a title and a synopsis. The episode's called Mercy. And the official synopsis for the episode reads, Rick and his group, along with the Kingdom and the Hilltop, have banded together to bring the fight to Negan and the Saviors. Ooh, I can't wait.
Chills.
Chills, chills, chills. All right, so what else we have here? Christian Serrato on when Rosita will return to The Walking Dead. Now, we know she's pregnant Well, she was pregnant when they were filming.
Didn't she just have a baby?
Yeah, she had a girl, right.
She had a baby.
She was pregnant during the filming. Now, if you remember, when Sonequa Martin Green was pregnant, they would put a lot of heavy clothing on her. They put her behind things. And, of course, when Alana Masterson was pregnant, Tara, they put her on a supply run with Heath, and we didn't see her for half a season. Yep. And then she came back post-baby to do the bottle episode with the Oceanside. She maybe want to stay another week next time. And so what they said was the way this season is shot, and we'll talk more about it in a minute, is the premiere episode is going to show you a lot of scenes out of order.
Oh, man.
And so they filmed scenes later on in the film shooting that they're going to put in the first episode. So you'll see flash aheads and flashbacks.
Okay.
Flash aheads and then flashbacks. So you'll see maybe scenes that Rosita filmed after the baby.
Gotcha.
That they then go back and insert into the first episode, like her in the hospital bed, recovering from the baby or having the baby. Or because she got shot. If you remember.
Got shot,
yeah. They probably shot her to give her a reason to be in a bed.
True.
Is what my guess is.
Okay.
So we'll see her sooner than later, even though she wasn't there for the filming of the couple episodes. They filmed scenes later on that they'll stick in the first episode.
Okay.
Norman Reedus told comicbook.com that his renegade rogue on his own mission that he goes on in the beginning of season 8 is because of Glenn. It's motivated by what happened to Glenn. Here's what he says. Last season sucked. It sucked. Daryl wants revenge. This is Norman Reedus talking. He just is seeing red right now, and he's gone through the whole thing with feeling the guilt and realizing Glenn wouldn't have wanted him to give up like that. And he's fighting for himself. He's fighting for the people he loves and for the people that have gone before him. He just wants fucking revenge. And I don't know if there's any way to talk him out of what he wants to do. I think he's trying to get revenge. He's trying to get revenge. He wants to kill some certain people. He's tired of being diplomatic. He wants to burn everybody down.
Ooh, Daryl.
Yep. There's no rational thought here. So Daryl will be on his own.
He's
unhinged. And by the way, just because I'm a little unhinged, I mentioned Sierra Gore, who's a big fan of all the podcasts. I didn't tell you why I mentioned her. She's one of a couple of people on Twitter that listen to this podcast every week and don't watch any of the shows.
What?
Talk about.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
So,
that's really funny.
Yeah. So I have challenged those couple of people that tweeted at us, and I said, you know what? You need to watch the first episode of Preacher and the first episode of The Walking Dead, and then let me know if you like them or not.
Yeah.
Because they just like our banter.
Oh, well,
and so I said, well, that's very nice.
But you'll love the show too.
Yeah, and by the way, I didn't say watch the first episode of Fear the Walking Dead because I feel like you have to love The Walking Dead to then get into Fear the Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Although I think if you watched Fear the Walking Dead first and you didn't know how to kill zombies, it might be more enjoyable.
That's true, because watching Fear for the first time, I was like, no, why aren't they doing that?
Why don't they get it? Yeah, you got to kill him in the head.
Kill him in the head.
Right. Hashtag kill him in the head.
Hashtag kill him in the head.
Hashtag ship him on ship. Pollyanna McIntosh, who plays Jadis, teases redemption for her character. Now, some of the stuff that she says here in this interview, I don't understand how she got away with it. When we interviewed Daniel Newman,
oh man,
we asked him general, vague, very like surface stuff.
He got so nervous.
He's like, I can't say anything. I'm just gonna sit here. I can't even comment. I asked him simple stuff. You'll hear the interview.
Yeah.
So simple. So here's what she says. She reveals an interesting take on Jadis and her perspective on the Alexandrian and Savior leaders. I think she has a lot more respect for Nick than she does for Rick than she does for Negan, McIntosh said. You can't make choices based on that. In this world, Negan is not a cool guy, and I don't like the way he's running things either, so I don't think there's room for things to switch again. She says, by the way, she was upgraded to a full-time series regular. She says, Negan is also the scarier option to screw with, because we could lose a lot more of our people from Negan than we could from Rick. At that point, at the end of the season finale of season 7, she says, so yeah, he's sort of a safer bet, plus he gives us more stuff. She's saying that Negan is better to deal with. But then she sort of alluded in a video that's on comicbook.com that you never know, she could switch back. In other words, to save her own skin, once Rick and...
She already shot Rick in the freaking stomach.
Yeah. Well, she may try to she may turn on the saviors if who knows?
Who knows if the survivors will even take her ass back?
Yeah. Now, speaking of comicbook.com, if you go to on Facebook and search Comic Book Now, okay? Comic Book Now. They do interviews of sci-fi stories and actors and people from TV shows. Tonight, meaning Thursday the 28th at 7 p.m., they're interviewing Enid, Caitlin Nacon, Ross Marquand, who plays Aaron.
Oh, Aaron.
And they're interviewing Pollyanna McIntosh. Jadis. And there may be other people, but that's all I saw that was listed.
Cool.
So tonight, go on Facebook, search Comic Book Now, 7 p.m. East Coast time. And then the videos stay up there on the page. So if you miss
I'm going to go check that out.
You can check it out later date. But if you want to watch it live, it's tonight. They probably write in questions as they're doing the interviews. So let's see. Walking Dead Season 8 premiere might contain all sorts of time jumps. I mentioned that a little earlier. You'll see Old Man Rick, but that's from a future episode, which they don't exactly explain. They said that the first episode took 9 days to film.
Wow.
Usually it takes 8.
Yeah.
They had an extra day. It's 67 minutes, and it's splashed with bits from later episodes.
Flashbacks.
Flash forwards.
Flash forwards,
right.
rather.
So you're going to see things from, let's say, episode 6 or 7, a little bit of it, and it'll be a little tease. So that'll be interesting. Hopefully they won't spoil things. Ross Marquand revealed to comicbook.com that some plans about Aaron on The Walking Dead. He says, I think Aaron is fully on board with Rick's plan to fight. He realizes that a guy like Negan and the Saviors don't respond to diplomacy whatsoever. I think the only way you can defeat a man like that, a psychopath killer who lives by his own code of ethics and no one else's, is to fight fire with fire and take him out. And I think Rick is on a singular mission to take him out, and Aaron wants to support that. He says his character is a good mix of Morgan and Rick. Morgan doesn't want to fight under any circumstances. He doesn't want to kill, and I think that's very much a part of Aaron. But he also wants to believe there's a diplomatic way. On the other hand, he says he's not afraid to pick up and kill people if they need to be killed.
Do you think Eric is going to survive season 8? I don't think so either.
No, I don't. I hope he does.
I mean, I never would want him to die, but I don't know how he's going to
I don't know how
do in this all-out war.
I don't know who's going to survive and not survive in comparison to the comic book. Mm-hmm. Because it's very different as far as who's alive. As we talked about,
true.
At this point, Carol and Morgan are dead in the comics.
And
spoiler, go read the comics.
Andrea's still alive.
Andrea's alive.
And Rick's woman.
Dating Andrea instead of Michonne.
Yeah.
And there's other people that are, anyway.
Yeah.
The war could be completely different. I don't want to say somebody dies in the comics and then they live and they live in the comics and they die.
We don't know.
There's people, there's injuries that take place that may or may not happen. So enjoy the show. Go read the comics. They're two slightly different things. Also, here's why Jadis talks the way she does.
Yes, please tell me why she talks like Yoda.
When the clothes, bangs, and junkyard home weren't enough to make the character stand out, the writers of the show decided to make Jadis speak with only shortened sentences and unique word choices. According to McIntosh, the word choices are a tactic used by Jadis to intimidate possible threats. This is what she said. She said it's unnerving to people that she talks that way.
It is. It's unnerving to me.
Right. Go to the up.
Yeah, up.
You're a freak. I would punch you in the face. By the way, I don't. I'm saying in the zombie apocalypse.
Yes.
I don't. I don't condone violence.
No.
But maybe with her.
Just maybe with Jadis.
Because she's a traitorous bitch.
Yeah,
now I have to say the show is slightly.
It's explicit.
Yeah. Fuck.
Okay.
Sorry, moms and dads. Let's see. Caitlin Nacon reveals a new connection. Okay, so here again, this is where I say, is it a slip up or is it a red herring?
Okay. Oh.
The actress that plays Enid says that there's a new relationship for her later on in the season.
Like a love relationship?
No, it sounds to me like she means with Aaron.
Oh.
It sounds like she bonds with Aaron. There's a scene in the trailer where she's trying to talk him out of something like maybe like a suicide run, and he's like, "You got to stay back. You're too young." I think it's going to be a friendship with Aaron.
Okay.
But here's the thing. If you say later in the show's 8th season, you're implying that you and Aaron will make it that long.
Well, she was just recently signed on as a full cast member.
Yeah, but there have been other cast members that got bumped up to full-time status and then killed.
True.
That
that's a semi-spoiler.
That doesn't tell you nothing.
They're going to be... It doesn't tell you nothing.
Andrea bought a new house, thought she was going to be there until season 12, and they killed her.
Season 3?
Bastards. Spoiler, Andrea's dead.
Yeah.
Andrew Lincoln does not watch The Walking Dead.
What? I think I've heard him say this before. That's insane.
While doing an interview with TV Insider about the upcoming season, he was asked about that monumental Old Man Rick scene. He said it's top secret, of course. And imagine him saying this with a British accent.
Yeah, I know.
It's top secret, of course. And it's thrown a real curveball to the fans. I'm choosing to ignore the whole thing. I couldn't even look at myself in the old age makeup. Couldn't bear it. I don't watch the show at all. I'm allergic to my own face.
Oh.
Now, wasn't he in Love Actually?
Yeah, he was.
Did he not watch that?
That's so weird. You'd think you'd want to watch.
I don't understand good-looking people.
Well,
I say
know.
that as someone on the outside banging on the window looking in. How do you not look at yourself when you're good-looking?
Or if you're ugly, I'd want to know how I did.
Yeah.
I'd want to be like, did I suck?
Hey, if I got to look in the mirror, you got to look in the mirror.
Yeah, if I got to look at me, you got to look at me.
I go back and listen to our podcast sometimes.
I go back and listen sometimes.
Because it shows up that we had an extra listen on the rating, so it's good. Play my own
Agenda.
Stuff. Listen, people, if you want to hit the podcast and after it's over, just hit play again in the background, turn the sound off and just let it run. We get credit for an extra listen.
Yeah.
Extra spin. That's good for us. We like that.
We condone that.
We do condone that. Let's see. Andrew Lincoln. He expressed some dismay when he heard comic writer Robert Kirkman, in a recent interview that we did talk about. Kirkman said that Rick in the comics at some point will die and not make it to the end of the story. This is what he said about that.
I don't like this.
Rick, well, look, the TV show could be different.
Could be.
This is what he said. I'm sad hearing that. But if it happened in the series, the TV show, it would also be a huge relief, Lincoln said. I love the idea of completion. This has been an astonishing ride, but I need to cash in at some point. I think he means cash in on life, not like with a paycheck.
Yes.
I know some fans hope for a happy ending to the show, like a cure for the zombie virus. Perhaps, but knowing Kirkman, I wouldn't bet on it. I don't want Rick to die. I know it makes it real. I know it makes it more about...
Very real.
Right? I know you're like, well, anyone can die if Rick dies.
Yeah.
But if you make it the story of Rick, then he wouldn't die.
Unless, like Andrew Lincoln said, his completion. And now that's the end of his story.
Well, then end the show.
But it's not going to be for a while. I wouldn't think.
Listen, if you kill him and then there's like 2 more episodes, I could live with that.
Me too, but I couldn't go on another season. I think that's too much.
Not without my Rick.
I can't handle that.
I know. Look, listen, Maggie's a strong leader and all, but I like Rick.
But it's Rick. Rick is the guy.
And you know what? He's Coral's dad.
Coral.
Okay, last thing about Andrew Lincoln.
Okay.
Talking about killing Negan. He said, everywhere I go in the world, people stop me to say, will you please kick Negan's ass?
Oh my God.
Enough already. He said, but I find their relationship and how each sees a part of himself in the other to be quite thrilling. If Negan must eventually get his just desserts, maybe we can stretch it out a little. So he doesn't want Negan to die. Again, it could differ from the comics in what they decide to do to Jeffrey Dean Morgan, his character. In the comics, this is public knowledge, Negan is still alive years after the war. That's not ruining anything for anybody. Unless you're a person who doesn't want to know what goes on in the comics, but it doesn't relate to the show.
No, everything can change me different.
Keep in mind, in the comics, you don't hear the words being said, and you don't see video of killing.
No.
So, like, for instance, the Glenn killing. In the comics, the Glenn killing was brutal looking.
Yeah.
But much worse on video. And hearing the sound and the gloating and the blood splattering. Much worse.
Yeah.
And so, people love Negan, but people hate Negan. But if people don't love the TV version of Negan as much as the comic book version of Negan, maybe they decide that perceptuals and fan reaction is not to keep him around as long as they did in the comics.
That could be. Perceptuals are important, as we know.
Yeah, we certainly know that.
We certainly know about that.
Now, here is the biggest Walking Dead news.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Huge.
I'm sitting down.
Huge. It's going to be the best news ever, believe me.
Is this fake news?
It's fake news. No, this is real news because it isn't about someone who would say it was fake.
Okay.
That's how you do. If you don't like the news, you say it's fake. I love this news, so I'm going to say it's real.
Okay.
AMC. You didn't get an alert on your phone?
Maybe. I get so many.
Nobody tweeted you asking you if you heard this news?
I don't know.
AMC. This is so big. You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. Oh my God,
you're making me so nervous.
No. I'm gonna do a little song. I'm gonna play the music.
We're even playing Mr. Afrojack.
Yeah.
These people need to know who the hell's in charge here.
I'll tell you who's in charge here.
What the rules are.
AMC's in charge.
Okay.
And AMC has given permission for the show. Only 2, but they're allowed 2 fucks per season now.
I saw this. I saw there's going to be a fuck.
There's going to be 2 fucks.
2 fucks. I saw this the other day.
By the way, that was the original name of this podcast.
2 fucks.
And they were both her. They were both Jamie.
Oh my God. I did see this.
Okay.
When do you think it's going to happen?
First of all, they both have to be Negan, right?
I thought that immediately. I really did. Unless it's like one Negan and one Daryl.
Okay, so one's got to be Daryl. Well, Daryl doesn't seem like the cursing type.
He might.
He's the quiet,
it's
soft-spoken type.
Definitely Negan.
Well, Andrew Lincoln said the F word originally on the last line of season 5.
In the boxcar.
In the boxcar, he said they don't know who the fuck they're messing with.
Yeah.
And then they changed it.
They did an alt ending.
They were like, at the last minute they changed it to who the hell they're messing with, whatever the line was. I think Rick gets one maybe, because Rick might yell it.
Yeah. And Negan has to be the other one.
Okay, let's go through the cast.
Okay.
And again, tweet us at David_Brody, at JMX514.
They have to make it count.
And at Walkers_Talkers.
This fuck has to count.
That's what she said. Just now, that's what she said.
Yeah, I literally said that.
That's what she said. So, all right, let's go through it. I don't think Maggie would say it.
No.
Tara might, but you're wasting on a...
That's what I think.
Right?
Maggie might.
Aaron, no.
No.
Eric, definitely not. Eric would be like,
Enid or Carl, no.
Carl would be like, no.
No.
Michael Rooker would have said it.
Michael Rooker would have.
Definitely.
He's gone. That's Merle.
Merle would have said it. Okay, so definitely Negan. Ezekiel, fuck.
No.
Jerry, fuck you, Jerry.
Fuck you, Jerry. Could you imagine if that's how they use it?
Oh, by the way.
That'd be like amazing.
Speaking of Jerry, we learned a lot about Jerry and the actor who plays Jerry in the Daniel Newman interview you have to listen to.
Yes.
I'm so excited
Now
about this
we
interview.
really, really want to meet Jerry.
Jerry! All right, so not Ezekiel.
Definitely not Carol.
No.
Not Morgan.
Not Morgan. Not Eugene.
No. Simon, I could see him throwing it around, but I don't think they're going to let him say it.
Abraham would have.
Abraham would have. Sasha would have, but
Sasha
they're both
would've.
gone.
So
Spoiler.
yeah, spoiler. So we're still looking at Rick and Negan.
That's who I'm thinking.
Jadis would be like, fuck, and the up. So no. Maybe a character we haven't met yet?
I don't know. I feel like they're going to really make
Rosita?
that count.
Maybe Rosita?
I don't... no.
Not Rosita.
I think it's going to be Rick, Daryl, or Negan.
No, not Daryl.
You don't think so?
No, I think Daryl just likes to go, I'll kill him. I don't think he's
The mumbler.
You got to be a certain type of person to say the word. I'm that type of person.
Yeah.
Like, I'll fire you. Yeah. So that's what I think. I think one Rick, one Negan, or two Negans.
That sounds about right.
But imagine they give like the 2 Fs to somebody else and none for Negan.
No, Negan has to have one. He does it all the time in the comics.
So tweet us who you think gets the 2 Fs.
Yeah.
Who gets 1 and 1, 2 and none.
Who deserves the Fs?
Who deserves the Fs?
Yeah.
Who deserves to get an F? All right, so we doing it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, we're going to talk about
Okay.
Fear the Walking Dead as I play the music from the Jaguar commercial.
The real song.
It is. We have to play the whole song, I think. We can't.
Yeah, that's like a long time.
Yeah. Come on.
That's your part.
There we go.
That's kind of hot.
It is kind of hot. I'm going to shorten that. One of these days, I'm going to shorten that. Fear the Walking Dead, Season 3, Episode 12.
I thought it was a tremendous episode.
I thought it was really good. Really good episode. This was one of those where you go, oh, the show's good.
There's no joking around.
No joking around. All right, so let's talk about it. Troy, recently banished. He is in the wilderness, killing and eating a snake.
He's unhinged.
He's unhinged. Keeping a journal, like documenting his time. He has no one to talk to.
Where he was shaking the rattler from the snake.
Yeah, he cut the snake's
whoa.
tail off, and he's like, look, I got a little toy.
Shaking it.
A little toy. So he walks into, he goes to where the Nation had that, was it the Nation or old Man McCarthy's? It was Old Man McCarthy's house,
like
right?
Yeah, outpost.
His outpost,
yeah.
right? This is where they found Old Man McCarthy in a chair with his brain being eaten by a crow. So he goes there, he goes in the barn, he finds and eats cat food.
Yeah.
He's like, and happily, he's like, oh, cat food, yum. He goes in the house, he sees a door that says, God helps those that help themselves. Now, I wonder, because it was McCarthy's house, if he thought that sign was like an obvious hint that something was back there, or because he knew McCarthy, he knew there was a giant gun back there.
He probably knew there was stuff back there.
Yeah. When we first saw the scene in the trailer from last week, we didn't know whose house it was.
No.
But now I'm thinking he knew. So it wasn't a gun. It was described as a blooper, maybe, or a bopper.
It made that sound.
Yeah, so it shoots some kind of grenade, and it makes like a bloop sound.
Yeah.
Apparently when it fires, so they called it the blooper or the whatever it is. Anyway, you guys saw the show. So he finds that gun. Again, I call quarter bullshit.
It's like a grenade launcher.
Right. It's like a grenade launcher of some kind. With like gold.
Big giant ass bullet thing.
Giant ass bullets for people
Giant ass bullets.
giant asses.
And Phil's body's still sitting there.
It was at the time, yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, just getting it was just gross. So this guy knows how to survive in the wild. He digs himself a fire pit. At some point, he must have buried McCarthy because he's not in the chair anymore, and he goes and sits in McCarthy's chair.
You kind of see him like patting the dirt down.
He's staring at his gun and the one bullet in the gun, and you're like, is he going to kill himself? No, he's not going to kill himself.
He's not. It's Troy.
So
He's
then
not going to do it.
He looks off in the distance, and he hears walkers. He hears but from a distance, so more like this. That. And you don't know exactly what he sees, but he smiles. Right? So
that evil hot
and he's got,
smile.
and you know that loud noises attract them. So I'm like,
oh yeah.
Is he going to bring them to where he is so he can throw himself and get killed? What's he going to do? We don't know until later on. That's when the credits roll. We're at the ranch, and Nick and a couple other guys are killing walkers that have been attacking the cows, and they all agree that the cows need water and there's not enough, and that the cows aren't going to survive.
And Nick said the cattle are drawing in the infected.
Right. That the infected are smelling the cows, and so he shoots one of the cows. No cows were hurt in the filming of this episode.
You don't see it.
Right.
But you know what he did.
He shot the cow.
Oh.
Which, you know what? I call bull on that.
Oh, my God.
Sorry. I apologize.
Oh, man.
Hashtag pun. Let's see. Jake wants to leave the ranch with Alicia. He's like, we should just get out of here. We own some property. We have a cabin. We can hunt.
It sounded like they had a ton of animals and cattle.
He's like, oh, we can go there. It's first of all, how would you know there's any animals left at that point?
Exactly.
But he's like, the cabin's only good enough for 2 people. So he's ready now to hook up with Alicia, and they're
She's
gonna
like,
go.
are you serious?
They can go have like their own little honeymoon at a cabin.
Dumb.
Okay. So Jake's the moral compass of the show. He's the good guy. He's planning a future. He's ready to pour the Bisquick.
He's ready to pour the Bisquick and make pancakes.
Make pancakes.
On purpose.
On purpose. and Alicia's like, I'm not
She's
sure
like,
about it.
I don't know about these pancakes.
Right. Yeah. She's like, we got to stay. And he's like, well, I want to stay here.
She's like, well, we're staying.
We're staying. Right. Crazy Dog's talking to Ophelia. They think Nick should lead if Madison and Walker don't come back because everybody trusts Nick on both sides, which is crazy. Like when the show started, Nick was...
He was a degenerate.
Addicted to drugs.
Druggy,
and yeah.
Unreliable.
Big mess.
Yeah.
Big mess. Now he's the leader of all these people. Nick's in bed. He hears a noise. He goes outside. He smokes a second cigarette of the episode.
Yeah.
He got
smoked
Alicia
a
to
lot.
smoke.
I know. He even said, am I corrupting you?
Look, I know it's a zombie apocalypse. How much longer do you have to live? Smoking is still bad.
Well, maybe they only had a pack left. Who knows?
I don't know. Don't you need your strength? You want to start wheezing, running out of breath when you're trying to run away from walkers?
Nick's already skinny.
Yeah, I don't know. Alicia, cut it out. All right. Anyway, so, I forgot. We skipped a part. Nick and Alicia were talking, and they were smoking, and Nick is stressed about killing Troy's father, and Alicia says, you know what? Troy killed a lot of people's fathers, which I thought was a great line.
And daughters and mothers. Like he,
right.
Yeah, like
Troy's a terrible person.
Yeah, he's killed so many
even
people.
though, Nick relates to him. Anyway, so Nick gets outside. He hears a noise. He goes out and smokes a cigarette, and Troy shows up behind him. Got into his house. He's back.
Very creepy and stealth.
Yeah. Well, that's Troy.
Yeah.
Troy says, look, man, Nick, you saved me, and I'm here to save you from a reckoning.
Oh, shit. When he started to go down this road, I'm like, he has snapped.
At that point, when he said there's a reckoning coming, what did you think he meant?
He was going to do something real bad to that ranch.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, like, that was not this was not good.
Like, I thought he was going to take the grenade gun and start blowing shit up.
Yeah.
Shoot his way into the armory and start killing people.
He's like, this ranch won't be here long. I'm like, oh, shit.
And then he's rambling on about he's getting religious and biblical, and I don't know what he's talking about. So he's just saying, like, shit's going to happen.
Yeah.
Now, that was a nighttime scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then Troy locks himself in the house, but the other door's open.
Yeah, he locks Nick on that porch
Right.
upstairs. But Nick just jumps off the thing, and then by the time he gets downstairs, Troy's gone.
So so the door being open is what you thought that Troy ran out.
That's what it looked like.
See, I thought, thank you, you're right. I thought dumb Troy thought he locked himself in the house.
Oh, no.
But the other door was open.
No, I think he just
That's why the
tried to
door was
lock
open.
Nick
Yeah.
up there.
And then he ran out the other side.
He just left.
Okay.
He didn't bother shutting the door.
All right. So he says, in a few hours, this whole place will be obliterated. Go get Jake, and he locks himself in the house. So he tells him to go get Jake. It's at nighttime.
Yeah.
The next morning, Jake and Alicia are arguing about leaving. Jake wants to know if their relationship is a relationship or an alliance. That's cold.
Yeah, I didn't really like that.
He says to her, oh, I get it. You know, Madison buddied up to my father. Nick's hanging out with Troy.
You seduced me.
Right.
She looked at him like, are you fucking kidding me?
Madison took Troy under her wing,
Please.
and now you're seducing me. Is this your way of getting close to us? Like, are you using us? And she's like, no. And she sort of wanted to say, I love you. This isn't about that, but she didn't.
She held back, but she was upset.
She was upset like, I care for you. But
Understandably so.
But not enough to really get that point across.
No.
So now they're having problems because he seems to like her, which is never a good sign on these shows.
Oh, boy. Don't
Yep.
fall in love on the show.
Let's see. Nick comes by the next morning.
Yeah, what the hell was he? What happened in this
I don't know.
Where did the nighttime go?
He said the whole ranch is going to be obliterated. What, did you go back to sleep?
Apparently.
You got up when you felt like it? Anyway, he says Troy was there and he left but promised that a bad thing was going to happen. At that point, I said, it's got to be a Walker herd.
Well, yeah, because of the earlier in the episode, I thought, oh, God, what's he going to do?
Yeah, that's when I realized that's what it is. So Jake heads off in a truck with Nick to go after Troy. He knows he must be at McCarthy's outpost. He's like, where else would he go?
Yeah.
He only knows that direction. Nick tells Jake that Troy came to warn them, not harm them. Because it looked like Jake was going to go kill Troy. Like, he's not going to come threaten us. He's like, no, man, he was warning us. Right? So, no, he wasn't.
No.
He was warning the couple of people he cared about because the rest of the place was going to be destroyed. Jake tells Nick a story about a rabbit that he had to kill because it was injured.
Oh.
So apparently Troy skinned a rabbit and left it to die.
And he said the rabbits scream like humans when they're in pain.
He said when something is lame or sick, you have to put it down. It's a mercy kill. So he said Jake is not going to get any better, implying I got to put him down.
Yeah.
It would be a mercy kill. Nick sees what's coming. He sees dust clouds, and he realizes it's a herd. Then you see like an overhead shot.
Have we ever seen a herd this big? I don't think even on Walking Dead.
No.
This was insane.
There was the herd that was. Remember when there was a herd?
By the quarry?
No,
that one?
The quarry. Yes,
was big.
There were two herds that were huge.
Yeah.
There was the giant one that was up the road, and then when they tried to back out, they were stuck on the walkers, and they got stuck, and they couldn't get right. Okay, and they couldn't get to wherever they were going, Terminus, wherever they were headed. There was that giant herd in the road. Yeah. And then the quarry, if you remember the quarry, what they did was they had time because they planned it.
Yeah, they did plan it.
They built sturdy walls that were reinforced to curve them so that the Walker herd would come in, hit the curve, and head out.
Yeah.
And it would have worked if that random truck from the wolves didn't come flying in, knock the church down, and put a hole in the wall.
Yeah, casual. That was bad.
And then they heard the horn blowing, and it got half of them to go off into the woods.
Yeah.
And that's when a bunch of people got killed because that happened.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
But this was a gargantuan herd.
This was a bigger herd, but had they had time to build a wall, it wouldn't have mattered how big the herd was necessarily. So this was a massive herd. This whole 3 seasons.
Thousands.
Right. Since the ranch started last season, you're like, where are all the walkers?
Yeah.
Now, there aren't a lot of people out there to begin with.
Here they are. Every single one, I think.
Every single one in that part of the country. So Alicia tells Ophelia what's going on. That they went to go get Troy. Troy said something bad. Alicia can't keep a secret for shit.
Oh, she's the worst. She tells everybody.
Don't tell anybody that we're going to be out of water in 6 weeks.
Hey, guys, we're out of water in 6 weeks.
Yeah. Hey, we're going to go get Troy. Just keep it. Troy, going to get Troy. Going to get Troy. She's the worst. She's lucky she's hot.
Oh, man.
I think that she knows she's hot.
Yeah.
So she's like, I can
do this.
I can do whatever I want. Hashtag hot girls don't have to keep a secret. Nick tries to tell Troy before, he tries to talk to Troy before Jake kills him. So he's like, hey, man, because they find Jake and he's down there staring at the horde.
Yeah.
They realize that he's doing something with the horde.
Nick's like, dude, you're not in your right mind. Troy, just relax. You haven't slept.
Yeah. And Jake points a gun at Troy's head, and Troy's like, hey, that horde, that's evolution, man. That's evolution.
Nick's like, no, that's murder,
right.
Actually.
And he sounded like the people that were living at the, what were they? There was somebody on The Walking Dead. Was it, or the Colonia that was saying it's
La
evolution?
Colonia.
Oh, what's her name? Celia.
Oh, Luciana?
No, crazy woman with the big house, Celia.
Oh, Celia, yeah.
She was like, it's evolution.
Yeah,
Same.
no, it's not.
No, it is not.
You're cray.
Yeah. Okay, so Jake swears he's going to kill him. He says, Troy, don't shoot that gun, because Troy's ready to shoot the bloop gun.
The blooper.
And because at this point, they figured out they were at a crossroads that they could draw them away to one direction, away from the ranch.
Or right to the ranch.
And Troy shoots another one of those grenades right in the direction of the ranch.
Of course
all
he does.
head towards the ranch. Now, Jake told Troy, don't you fire that or I'll kill you. And of course, Troy fires it anyway. He doesn't really care about dying.
Honey Badger don't care.
Honey Badger don't care. So he beats him down to the ground, and he's got a gun in his face. And this was great. And Jake tells the rabbit story again, and Troy says, tell me about the rabbits.
Oh, my God.
Now, that's a direct reference from Of Mice and Men, when the two brothers, when the older brother Lenny wants to hear his story about the rabbits.
Yeah, they referred to this, I think, on Talking Dead.
Right. And he says, tell me about the rabbits, George. Because he really wants to hear about the rabbits. That's his story.
Yeah.
And spoiler, the book's like 70 years old. He kills his brother because he's dangerous. He kills things with his bare hands. I'm not going to give you the whole plot.
A la Troy.
And that's also why Carol made Lizzie look at the flowers.
Yeah.
She's like, look at the flowers, Lizzie. Same thing, like, tell me about the rabbit. Like, tell me a story.
Tell me.
Look at the flowers. Aren't they pretty? Pow. Lizzie's dead. Spoiler.
Oh.
Well, she killed her sister. Spoiler.
Well, I know. What a psycho. She was going to kill Judith, too.
Yeah, but she didn't.
She
Spoiler.
didn't.
By the way, in the new trailer for The Walking Dead, Judy's like 7.
What?
I don't know. She looks older.
She's like
Leave me
5.
alone. I don't know. She looked 4, but she had like long hair.
Oh.
She wasn't like a little toddler anymore. She's like a
Yeah.
little girl playing with, I don't know. All right. So let's see.
Everyone at the ranch heard that grenade go off, too.
Right.
And they're like, oh, shit.
Anyway, Troy hints at what Nick did. He's like, why don't you tell him what you did? He's like, before I get shot in the face, why don't you see your buddy Nick over there? Basically, he's trying to hint that he killed Jeremiah.
Yes.
He's like, he killed our dad. And Jake says, I don't care what Nick did. And he goes to shoot. He's about to shoot Troy in the face. And Nick knocks Jake down the hill to save Troy.
Yeah.
So they debated what happens next on The Walking Dead as to whose fault this is.
It's like...
So Jake falls down the hill a little bit. A walker comes out of nowhere, falls on Jake. Now he's too far away for anyone to help him, but they had guns. But they didn't shoot the walker, and the walker bites Troy, a big chunk of his arm out of Jake's arm, not Troy. Right?
Yep, his right arm.
Now, if you remember Herschel, they took his foot off right away. And with
CGI?
No. With
The hatchet?
Nope. Yeah.
Yeah, the axe.
No.
What?
Character's name, the brother.
Oh, Merle. No, which brother?
Sasha's brother.
Oh my God, I see his name.
Drawing a blank.
Tyrese.
Yeah, Tyrese, thank you. They cut Tyrese's arm off. Spoiler.
Yeah.
When he got bitten, because that was also the kid's fault.
Carl.
No.
We're not doing so good here.
No. The kid they found in the hospital.
Oh, Noah.
Noah, thank you.
Yeah.
It was Noah's fault because they were there in his house.
Oh, yeah. His whole damn neighborhood was gone.
Yeah.
And then a lot of shit went down in that episode.
And it's Noah's fault Beth died.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Beth died.
Oh,
Spoiler.
yeah,
Spoiler. And Maggie doesn't seem to care about her either.
My God, Maggie just is like,
Never once is like, God, that reminds me so much of my sister. Carol never talks about her.
Never talked about
her sister. Nobody cares about. They're dead. They're gone.
No.
She's like, oh, you look like my sister. No, nothing. Beth is gone. Anyway, so he says, how long before he turns? Nick asks Troy. Now, remember, when we met Troy, he was killing people and testing how long it took them to turn.
That was his job. He was calculating.
That was his job. He's like, well, based on Jake's weight, how long before he turns? I don't know.
I don't know.
He choked.
Yeah.
He choked. So they extend his arm, grab his arm, and with a machete, which shouldn't really take one swing, but because of the bones, but.
By the way, they chopped it off like right where the bite was. He didn't go up high
Probably
enough.
should have. Thank you.
They
Thank you,
should have-
zombie apocalypse expert Jamie.
Yes, they had to go higher.
Yeah, because the poison or the virus would have spread a little bit.
Yeah, so they did it way too close to they did it basically on the bite.
Right. So they cut Jake's arm off.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking, Are they really going to CGI this guy's arm?
Then I thought, well, because they're not going to do Rick's right arm, are they going to do Jake's right arm? Da-da-da. And I wasn't sure.
That's when I realized, something's not now.
I was like,
because they cut Tyrese's arm off, and that didn't work.
Yeah, not gonna...
And then Tyrese died, spoiler.
Yeah.
So at that point, I figured he's going to die.
I was like, it's not
you know
looking
why?
too good.
Because he and Alicia might have had a future.
Yeah.
No. No future for you. Let's see. The ranch sees the horde coming. They decide not to evacuate and defend the ranch. They could have left, but they didn't. So they line up all the RVs in a semicircle so that they could turn the walkers away.
Yeah, kind of create a wall.
The problem is the walkers weren't coming up the road like they did from the quarry on The Walking Dead, where they had them all in one direction and they turned them. This herd was coming directly at the RVs and up the road from every direction.
Yeah.
And so the weight of the RVs, by the way, if you didn't watch The Talking Dead.
This is cool.
And I didn't say The Talking Dead like that's the name of the show. I meant The Walking Dead episode. The Talking Dead episode after the last episode of Fear the Walking Dead. They showed how they did the RVs and how they bounced them and how they got them to flip and all.
Make little panels.
Hilarious. Really cool. You got to watch that. Maybe cool's better than hilarious. It wasn't hilarious. It was just funny. It was like, oh, that's pretty cool. All right. So they're overrun. And Crazy Dog thinks Troy brought the herd. And they're like, no, he saved us. He warned us. They're like, no, he wouldn't have done that.
Yes, he would.
Coop says he could have saved everybody. He's like, now we need guns to protect ourselves.
All of us.
All of us, because only the nation has all the guns.
Yeah, they have access.
So Ophelia's like, yeah, give him the guns. Because Crazy Dog was like, I don't trust these people. So they give everybody guns. Now everybody's armed and ready to go to protect them. Nick is bringing the two brothers back to the ranch as we're seeing this happen. And they have the wall of RVs. They think that's going to hold. But the difference between the RVs and the wall, in addition to them not being sturdy, is that you can go under them.
And they did.
Yeah, I guess they smelled them.
Probably.
Otherwise, why would walkers go and climb under the...
We've only seen that a few times.
Right.
But it was because they smelled someone on the other side.
Or they saw someone go under, so they followed them.
Yeah.
But if you don't see people, I guess they smell them.
Yeah, they smell them.
In which case, they should have done the blood and guts trick.
That'd be a lot, yeah.
But again, you know how much they didn't have that much time. Jake is dying. Troy feels bad about it. Nick tells him to put him down. Troy wants Nick to kill him. And Nick says so Troy wants Nick to kill Troy.
And he kicks a gun at him and he goes, kill yourself.
Yeah, kill yourself.
Yeah, like.
And Troy's like, hey man, I'm tired.
He's like, I need to sleep.
After he kills his brother. So anyway, Troy puts a knife into his brother's head, kills Jake. Jake's dead. Spoiler. Jake's dead. And he's like, I need to rest. And he says, you'll rest when you're dead.
Yeah, he's like, we're going to fix what you did.
Nick's turning into a real badass.
He is. He's like, get up. You can sleep when you're dead. We're going to go fix what you just did.
Yeah, you did this.
I love when he grabs him. He's like, you want to see what you did? Look at this. This is what you did. And then he threw him to the ground.
Right. So the RVs start flipping over. There's a shitload of walkers coming in.
That's an understatement.
But you know what? It's about time. The show's supposed to be about walkers and zombies and infected, whatever you want to call them. The dead. Anyway, they're overrun. Alicia's killing them like a crazy woman. Although, and then Ophelia's beating them with a table leg or something. But she pointed this out on Talking Dead. She had an automatic weapon on her back, but she's beating him with a table leg.
Yeah, she's like, why did I do that?
Why wouldn't I use the gun? Coop is fighting them off, and then they overpower Coop.
Like
they
three
grab,
or four
They
of
grab
them.
his arms. Poor Coop.
They are eating him alive.
Yeah, well, they were biting his arms.
Yeah.
And starting to go for his head. And Alicia didn't know what to do.
Well, Coop took his own gun, put it to his temple, and pulled the trigger, and it was out of bullets.
And he had this look like, oh.
He just had this look of like, oh shit, help me.
But he wasn't screaming.
No, but it was just this really sad look.
Sad look. So Alicia shot him in the head.
Yeah, she had to.
Which she probably would have wanted to do earlier in the show, so she got to do.
She had to.
Again, I feel like Coop, although he wasn't the brightest guy, I thought he was the muscle. Like, you need to have some. Like, he could have been Abraham.
Yeah, he could.
He could have been the guy who's more of like a muscle military guy.
Tough
that you
guy.
need. Right. You need a guy like that. They keep killing those guys.
Yeah.
Like that guy, was it Carlos?
Yeah.
On the Thomas Abigail's bodyguard?
Yes.
He was like pretty good with the guns.
And then
they killed him.
Yep.
All right. Anyway, so Ophelia and Crazy Dog and Alicia find a way to get into the pantry. They bust their way through the walkers. I assume 10,000 walkers are outside the pantry. I'm not sure where they think they're going.
It's a lot.
Let's see. So Jake turned into a zombie. They killed him. We got that already. Let's see. Alicia stares at all the survivors in the pantry. They're all locked in. It doesn't look like the whole ranch is in the pantry.
Not really.
So they must have lost a lot of people. We didn't see them all die.
I think so, yeah.
We saw one guy, besides Coop from The Nation, get killed. I think it was Claw.
Claw, yeah.
CLAH?
Yeah.
Because he was in memoriam.
Yeah, I saw that.
So in the Talking Dead.
Claw.
All right, so scenes for next week. Nick shooting the gun and trying to draw the herd away, the bloop gun.
The bloop gun.
It looks like a walker got in the pantry or someone turned. Because there's a walker in the pantry, it looks like. Nick and Troy run into a helicopter and they're surrounded by walkers. It looked like the scene when Daryl and Aaron were stuck in the car and then Morgan saved them.
Oh my God, that scene, I was sweating.
So they're stuck in a helicopter,
Yeah.
which didn't look like it was good for them. So...
Only 3 more episodes left, that's it?
Well, but only 2 more weeks. Because they're doing a
double,
2-hour finale.
Okay.
Which then we have to review 2 hours.
Okay.
It's a lot. And then The Walking Dead's back.
Woo! That I cannot wait.
So only 2 more weeks, which means probably 2 more podcasts before The Walking Dead. 3,
With
if
Daniel
you include
Newman.
the Daniel Newman episode, which will stand alone for us.
Yeah.
It might be episode 75. We'll sandwich it in, or we'll run it after the Fear.
Yeah.
And we'll air it. So a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But I'm just so excited for everybody to hear it. And I may put it up earlier.
It was great.
It was really good. Daniel
lot of
Newman,
fun.
shout out Daniel Newman. We love you.
Yeah, we do.
All right, it's time.
What time is it?
Is it time? Let me check my watch. By the way, somebody said that again, Sierra said, even though she doesn't watch the shows, when we say what we're about to say, she says it with us.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, what time is it?
All right, Sierra, you ready? Are you ready? Everybody else who says it with us, you ready? Are you ready? We give you a
We're
chance.
ready.
You're
Okay.
ready. Okay, it's time.
What time is it?
It's time to shut this shit down.